Hey my dudes, it's been a while since I've decided to try any long form videos. I do have a couple that are kind of tucked away, they just need some finishing touches here and there. I don't know if I'm going to post those first or to start with this one, but I guess we'll find out. But I figured a good way to kind of get into the groove of it again was to try out a fully graphite set. A few months ago now, I wanted to replace my old pencil that I had been using for years and years and years. There's nothing wrong with it, but I was just kind of ready for an upgrade and I wanted something that felt a little bit more like a tool. So I got, okay, I don't know how to pronounce this at all. I don't know if it's Stageek or Stageek or Stageek. Who knows? But it's a cool pencil set that I got on the Bezos site for about 15 bucks. I've been using the 0.3 for a while now. I really like it. I figured it's time to dive in and get a full, honest opinion of this here set. Let's go ahead and open her up. And what really drew me to this set was, number one, I wanted one with the 0.3. That's my favorite lead to sketch with. But I really liked the variety, and I thought these were super neat. It's like a sharpener for the lead. I have never seen anything like that, and I want to know how they work. So we have a gum eraser, two clean 4B erasers. I'm not entirely sure if there's anything special about those. Kneaded eraser, a pack of replacement erasers for the end of these pencils, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different normal graphite leads, and 2 packs of colored lead, which I was pretty excited about. So let's make space for our sketchbook. As per usual, I'm using my ELO sketchbook. It does have very smooth paper. There's not a lot of tooth on it, and the board that I'm going to be drawing on for the final piece does have a lot of tooth, so I'll try and keep that in mind. I'm just going to start with smallest first, and we have the one that I've been using for months now. It's just the 0.3. It works, it's a pencil, I love it. 0.5. Don't mind my terrible handwriting, my hands are cold right now. I mean, the handwriting is terrible anyway, but... Alright, now we have 0.7. Ooh, soft. 0.9. I don't know if I've ever used... Like, look, can you see how large that is already? I'm not sure I've ever used a lead that huge. That's wild. Okay. To put that one to shame, we have... If I can get it out of the case... Oh, we have the straight up 2, which was probably the one I was the most curious about because it kind of mimics a normal pencil, like a wood pencil lead. So let's see. That is so weird. It feels more firm than the other ones. I think I want to try the sharpening. I'm just gonna scribble away real quick. Let's break out the sharpener. Is this the right thing? Oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm doing it right. Is that the wrong one? There's 2 of them. I don't know if that matters. No, I think like they're the exact same. Okay, I kind of bungled that. I might have to come back to that when I use the pencils more naturally, but it's still a really cool idea. I'm not mad at that. Oh, I just realized something. So that 2, it comes with different lead types. So we have 4B, 2B, 2H, and HB. Okay. I had no idea, and I don't know what came preloaded in that pencil. So I guess I'm gonna try and find out. Oh, this one doesn't have an eraser. That was in there first, so let's try a 4B and see if that's different. How do I open it? Open! There we go. Oh, they're like pre-sharpened. That's cool. Thanks, guys. We have 4B, 2B. Now, I used to draw in normal mechanical pencil primarily for years and years and years, but I never really dabbled in the different kind of leads. So I'm going to be honest with you, I don't feel a whole lot of difference there. Pencil experts, forgive me. This is the 2H. Well, hopefully I find that. I did find the cap. 2H. More firm. It's a little bit more, it reminds me a little bit more of like a cheap pencil that you get from like the dollar store. And then finally HB, which if I had to guess which, oh come on, these lids are nonsense. Okay. If I had to guess which lead came default into the pencil, I would assume HB because all of the other leads in the other pencils are all HB. I would wager that it's the same one. I think that the default came with the HB. Okay, and now I'm going to move on to the part that I was the most excited about, which I realized I actually need to get this 2 pencil back out. Bloop. Bright colors, it says. Okay. No fooling. Let's see, what should we try first? Perhaps we will go with this lavender kind of purpley one. Okay, it feels, on first impression, it feels very similar to a Kohl Erase pencil. which I have some of those, and I like those. I'll try and get all of the colors swatched so we can do the erase test next, and I will be right back. Oh, I'm kind of surprised by the yellow. I didn't expect it to have that much pigment. Alrighty, I think we're ready to take on some eraser tests. I'm going to start with this gum eraser. Ooh, that has a cool texture. Nice. Oh, that's fun. Alright, to business. I think we did okay. The eraser itself really holds on to it, and I will say because it is so squishy, it was kind of difficult to get that straight line. I mean, yeah, it erased, it did the job. So let's try this colored lead. That erased about as well as I expected. Some of the colors held onto it a little bit more, like the red and pink really didn't want to go anywhere. Yeah, those are pretty, and that green. Alright, so I think we can move on to the next eraser, which is a clean 4B. Again, I am not well versed in the ins and outs of graphite art. I didn't go to school for this, and anytime I try and learn things, my brain kind of shuts down. As Jazza would say, I'm a kinesthetic learner. It's hard for me to research things. I get bored. Whoops, I forgot to try those. Okay, well I'll finish opening this and then I will go back and erase that with the gum eraser. Oh my god! Okay, after some more struggling, I finally got it out. But now that I did, let's go back to the gum eraser so I can try using it on these ones over here. The 2B stuck around much more than the other ones, but I mean, same kind of thing. I think it did all right. The thing that I love about it is also the thing that I think is making it a difficult eraser to use. I love that it's so squishy, but it's just really difficult to actually, I don't know, erase with any precision. But maybe it's not meant for that. I don't know. I'm also just not a huge fan of eraser crumbs. Stop it. Okay, now we can try this guy. Whoa! I did really, really well. Try the color. Look, the eraser shavings are all rainbowy. I still hate them. Kind of okay-ish again on the colored lead. Let's do over here. Now, do we feel like it did particularly better on the 4B than anything else? No, I think it's just a pretty solid eraser. I am not going to open this one because I don't think there's any difference. So, moving on. Figured we could just go ahead and try the erasers that come on the pencil themselves. So after having used the 0.3 for a while, I will say these erasers go by so fast. I'm really, really glad that they give you replacements because I'm already on my third one on the 0.3. So that is something to keep in mind. And performance-wise, I'm kind of the most meh. But I mean, it is just a small kind of dinky back of the pencil eraser. The 4B, the clean 4B is definitely the most impressive thus far. It comes with a kneaded eraser. I will never turn my nose up at another kneaded eraser. Let's see if I can unwrap this one better. What I like to do when I first get one is mush it. It's a very, very soft one. Super duper soft. Now, I never use kneaded erasers necessarily to try and erase something completely. I use it to pick up graphite and use it as kind of like I'm lowering the opacity on a sketch. See how it does. All things considered, not too bad. Almost not at all on the colored lead. And then just for funsies, let's see how my normal kneaded eraser handles. I would say that whatever brand my normal kneaded eraser is probably better. I wish I could remember what it was, but I will still put this to good use. Let's go ahead and squish it back in its home, and I will probably use this kneaded eraser specifically for the drawing because I'm trying to only use what comes in this set. So it will have to do. Alright, full disclosure, it's been a few days since I've done the test because I ended up getting sick and I kept on waiting for me to get better, but I didn't really do that, so instead of waiting for a perfect time to do this, we're just going to go ahead and start. I'm going to do the final drawing on this illustration board. It does have a bit of an imperfection here. I don't know why or where it came from, but we'll just work around it. It's fine. Quick reminder, I'm going to be opting for something like this. As I'm sure you've seen before, I'm just going to go ahead and measure out the center of the page so I can kind of place our subject properly. Alright, now that we've got our page measured out, I have to decide if I'm going to be doing this in landscape or in portrait, which is a reoccurring struggle of mine. I never really know which is going to be the best, usually until it's too late. This sketch is much more landscape. I think if I brought the neck down, it could be very cool portrait. But if I kept it landscape, I could have her neck maybe fold back in and kind of fade off into something dark. So maybe I should stick with landscape? Oh gosh, I don't know. I think I'm gonna try landscape. So if we did landscape, her face would ideally be around here, come around like this. But if it was portrait, her face would be here. We have interesting opportunity to break the border here. Okay, I've changed my mind for the time being, and I'm gonna go with portrait. Mostly because I want to make sure that her hair can have nice long tendrils. I want it to feel very elongated. I'm going to try and stay nice and light in my sketch since we're only doing graphite. I want to make sure that I don't go too fast, you know? Give her forehead, kind of like a little bit of that flat nose. I know a lot of people have said that drawing the nose is really difficult, but for me it's always been the mouth. I can never, or I guess maybe never is not the right word, but it's very difficult for me to make a mouth that I think actually conveys any emotion. Move her brow bone a bit. It's a good eraser, I just hate eraser crumbs. I feel like her eye is too open. I want it to feel a little bit more sleepy, a little bit more relaxed, perhaps. No, that's too straight of a line. I still want it to feel relaxed, because a straight line still kind of implies there's a little bit of tense. There we go, that curve helped a bit. There is something about this sketch that I'm not liking as much as the one from before. Oh, that's right, I can't use this kneaded eraser. I gotta use the one from the kit. But yeah, there's something about it that I'm not quite liking as much, so I think I'm going to light erase the whole thing and see if I can't. Oh my gosh, it's so sticky. Whoa, that was wild. But yes, let's light erase the whole thing and figure out if I can fix this. I think maybe part of the problem is that I didn't start with a straight line, so the profile is a different shape. So I'm gonna go back to kind of our base circle. I'm going to give her a straight line. In the original sketch, her forehead was a little bit elongated because, you know, it's just playing host to a few extra horns, you know? I don't know, there's something about this profile that's not working for me. It's like too smoochy. Why are you looking so smoochy? Okay, I think that was actually better. This was coming too far. By taking that dip away, I think that kind of helped. We're getting it. We'll carve it away. Okay, I'm feeling like I'm at a part where I either need to erase the whole thing and start again, or push through and see where it goes. I think I'm at least going to give her the horns. Yikes, man, this is going rough. Okay. If I'm struggling through something so badly that it's making me want to walk away from it, sometimes instead of walking away from it, I will just walk away from that part of the drawing and I will go work on something else on the same project. I do think that getting this visual is helping. You have to figure out this eye situation. I love how I drew it in the original rough sketch, and I'm having a hard time trying to recreate that. And I love that when I'm gonna draw on something like this, they don't really have to make sense. I can do what I want, you know? Like, I know you can say, oh, well, eyelashes wouldn't look like that from this angle, but have you seen a giant woman-faced dragon before? Well, if you have, let me know where to see that, because that sounds rad. So I know I want her to have very Japanese-inspired makeup. I hope that I can take inspiration respectfully. Definitely like the look of the hair falling around the horns. I think that's super neat. Bring some wisps into here as well. This is where we could introduce a turn. Well, now that I'm kind of seeing, I'm not sure I'm a huge fan of it. So I feel like she's really pretty. I like how it's coming along finally, but I don't really know how I want it to be finished. Is this the part where I realize I should have done landscape? So I mean, at this point it's too late. I'm just gonna go ahead and stick with portrait, but like, dang it, what do I do now? What if I just put like a bunch of cherry blossom branches around her? I'm gonna go with a tentative yes on the cherry blossom branches. We've got to fill this space, but I also don't want the flow to be changed too much. So let's start from the top where it's a little bit easier for me to decide. And then I'm just gonna go for it and throw one coming up from the bottom corner. So I'm kind of scribbling these little spiral circles here as just placeholders. Something that I've been doing is shortening one of these borders. So usually I will do the top and the bottom, but I think in this case it would be kind of cool to bring in these borders. Almost feels a little bit more like a scroll. So I'm gonna give that a try. Alright, so now that we're at this point, I think I'm going to break open the rest of this and start kind of finishing everything, rendering everything out. I don't necessarily know how to do that, but I do know that I will need a different color in this guy. I think so far my only gripe with this set is that I wish we had two of the two pencils here, because what if I want one with the color and one with the graphite? I have to keep on switching them back and forth, and that's a little annoying, but let's just kind of be nitpicky, I think. Just kidding, this is literally what I was talking about. I only have this one, and I want to use the pink for the blossoms, but I wanted to use this 2H to kind of shade these branches so that way they're a different tone, but I can't do both at the same time, so I have to take the pink back out and put in the 2H, which is a little annoying. And to protect the graphite, as I've been drawing, I've been using the little sheet that comes in the Ohuhu markers to keep the markers from bleeding. Keeps my hand from smudging it, so that's convenient. Because I want the branches to stand out from the other shades around it. So I think I'm just trying to imply that this is more of a 3D shape. Again, I'm feeling a little out of my element here because I am desperate for some microns, but I'm actually pleasantly surprised with how this is turning out. So, okay, I've kind of worked the tip of this lead down, so I'm going to see if I can get the sharpener to work. I think that's probably user error. Okay, that looks way better. So you have to really extend the thing, I think. So let's go ahead and put that pink one back in here. Here's a bit of the risky moment. Let's see how it goes. Cute. I kind of like how the color looks when it's put over the graphite. It kind of like dulls it out. I think it's really pretty. I switched this 2 into a 4B because I think that's the darkest, and it's going to build up some depth in this hair. I want to try and lightly shade this whole thing and get a dark background here, so before it gets super smudgy, I should probably finish adding some depth here. Right, there isn't a whole lot left to do, but I would like to go through the face and the horns, kind of polish them up a little bit. But I want them to mostly stay the paper color. Okay, I think this part is going to be particularly challenging. I just want to lightly shade the background. I really like this texture, but I don't like that I wasn't able to get it very even. I thought about leaving the edge white because I do think that looks nice, but I want our character's face to be the brightest thing on the page. So we color it all in. I will see you in a long time, apparently. I think I'm going to go through with my trusty 03 and kind of clean up some of the outlines, and then we'll be done. Sometimes I find myself wondering if what I am doing on a particular art piece is actually making any sort of difference. I imagine that's a fairly common thought for most artists, but still. Did I actually outline that flower so it's easier to see, or am I just going insane? Hello, VoiceOver Racine here for some closing thoughts. The pencil set is about $15, and I would say it's a pretty good value. If it were up to me, I would get rid of the extra 4B eraser and have a second 2 pencil, so you can have one for colored lead and one for graphite. But the weight of the pencils was great, and you get tons of lead. I know the energy of this video was all over the place because I got sick during it, but if you made it to the end, I greatly appreciate it. I love how the art turned out, and I hope to see you next time. Later, Tater!